Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us. The situation businesses are facing on a global scale due to the coronavirus epidemic is monumental. It's forcing most non-essential employees, teams, and managers to work from home rather than reporting to the office or job site. For organizations and managers, this is a sudden and unpredicted challenge. And what they really need to do at this time is maintain productivity and collaboration between teams in order to keep meeting their business goals. In many cases, those efforts to implement productive work from home policies may be blocked by overall corporate policies or even put at risk by cybersecurity threats. At this uncertain time, managers need to know how to keep people connected and what tools and frameworks they should use to better support remote teamwork and collaboration. In some cases, businesses may need to reshape the way they offer their services. That, in turn, creates the need for new or changed value streams and processes. We have Jack Maher with us today. Jack is an experienced Lean, Agile, and DevOps leader. And Jack will be walking us through multiple ideas that I'm sure will be definitely useful for organizations and managers who are facing these challenges right now. On to you, Jack.
Hi, welcome to this webinar about how we can continue to create and deliver value during this time of crisis and beyond. It's really an opportunity for us to build and nurture relationships between our internal stakeholders, our customers, and our associates. This gives us an opportunity to be in a better position going forward for both times of challenge and just for normal business. Building those relationships have the opportunity for us to create value and have benefits for all of our time going forward. Most of our associates already have significant capabilities to do this. In fact, many managers worry about how much time their folks spend on things like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and other social media. And while we're practicing our social distancing, this is a great way and time for folks to be able to create value. That's a value to them, that's a value to the organization, and will enable us to build the kinds of relationships that will really enable us to deliver better value going forward. When we think about engagement, that's one of the things we strive for in most of our organizations. Many of us actually spend significant amounts of time and money to measure engagements through things like Gallup's 12 questions or Net Promoter Scores. We also talk about how much we value our associates and the relationships that we have with them. And this is a great way to demonstrate that in a very tangible way. Number one, we're helping folks understand their role and increasing the value in the organization. It also recognizes the relationships that we have with them more than ever. Externally, as we reach out to our clients, our customers, our constituents, we can demonstrate true empathy for the situation that they're in. Most of them are in the same kind of boat that we are, not being able to go to work, not being able to act as they normally do. And it's a very tangible way of supporting them and realizing and recognizing the value that we have together. So what is it that we can do? Is there really value here? Because part of what we want to get to is the realization of true value for everyone involved. For the beginning, we can get better feedback and information sharing by having these kinds of relationships, particularly those that are that begin during difficult times. We also continually look for ways to engage those outside of our organization. After all, that's a lot of what our marketing and sales is really all about. But driving that more deeply into real personal relationships by checking in and making sure that folks are okay, having an ongoing conversation that says, hey, I'm okay, are you okay too? And looking forward to when we move beyond this crisis and having the time to really build these relationships now that we can leverage going forward when we can be closer, both socially and physically. And overall, what we need to build in our relationships anyway is much better feedback loops so that we get the kind of information that will enable us to better create and deliver value going forward in our target markets, and also with the individuals that we work with. So both at a macro and a micro level. Now, you may be wondering, how is it that we can really do this? Well, number one, as we mentioned a few moments ago, social media is a great way. Many of our organizations have social media professionals already and leverage it in our marketing efforts. Enabling our folks to do the same will enable them to use the platform of choice that they prefer, and also those folks that we want to reach out to, and are a great way to get the conversation going. There are other tools that we can use for those folks that prefer a more formal approach, or sometimes it may make sense to have groups that are able to communicate and share. So tools like Google Hangouts or Google Meet is a great way of not only being able to organize information and share it within our organizations, but also as a way to reach out to other folks. We can help them do that and make sure that the messaging is close to what we want by providing them with pre-prepared graphics, information, and messaging that we want to do. And overall, this is part of an ongoing ability to create this community, possibly even having our customers share with each other in a true 360 approach, and creating an information hub about who we are, what we stand for, what we do, what we offer, and what we're thinking about for going forward. So the first step is really deciding that you're going to do something about this. Then you'll need to communicate both internally with your staff and other leaders, with other parts of the organization, such as marketing communications and other groups that can help with the collateral, the information, and the messaging that we want to share. Then we need to make sure that we share this information with all of the folks in our organization, a full 360 degree of stakeholders, everyone that cares about who we are, what we do, what we deliver, and what those outcomes are intended to be. As far as getting our associates involved, we can then also help them by letting them choose the platform that is most comfortable and works best for them. We can then help them identify how they would find stakeholders. And that will be a little bit challenging for some folks, and will challenge the organization in a way that might take a little bit of work in order to get the right kinds of information about who are our customers, where are they. Certainly, as we get into privacy issues, we'll need to make sure that the information that we share with our associates has been scrubbed and only includes information that is necessary for them to reach out. Many folks will find that tools like LinkedIn will enable them to find folks that work in organizations. And that might be the place for you to start to ensure that you're using information that won't encroach on someone's privacy. By providing our folks with prepackaged messages, but enabling them to personalize it to their own voice, will help us control the messages that are going out without losing the personal touch, and enabling folks to really bring themselves into this, because that person-to-person relationship is really what we want to have happen here, both for short and long-term benefits. We'll also want to make sure that we're capturing the feedback. So as folks have these relationships, as they begin their outreach, we'll want them to share back with the organization how it's going. How receptive were they? What messages did they share? What questions or concerns did those folks have, so that we can be sure to address those in a relevant way. And then we want to make sure that we share what this vision is about, both internally and externally. We want to set expectations that this is not about replacing the way we have worked in the past, but really augmenting it. And the expectation that we're really looking for authentic relationships. We're not trying to turn folks into new salespeople or do anything that is counter to the privacy, the relationships that we already have, or jeopardize anyone's position. We want to make sure that we establish ground rules too that are very consistent with what we have and what we do. There's not a whole lot to be concerned about here, but making sure that folks are clear about what's appropriate and what's not. So we would expect folks to act in a professional way, to dress the way they would as they would normally work or play, but avoid overt political messages or anything sexual or anything like that. And giving folks those ground rules will help reinforce the expectations of having professional relationships. These conversations are best when they're bi-directional. So having the ability to chat, to exchange messages, even email is a way that we could move forward. Tools like LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Hangouts, or Google Meet, as we talked about, even tapping into things like Skype and Zoom for those who would prefer that more personal face-to-face conversation. And of course, there's also the more graphically oriented platforms, whether you're a big fan of Instagram, whether it's the video or pictures, Snapchat, and even TikTok, probably for more of our younger associates. The things that we can do that will help folks leverage these tools well and provide benefit to all involved is, a little bit of coaching around communication skills. Those folks that may not be familiar with video conferencing, we might want to give them some quick tutorials, which are also readily available online, such as at YouTube, and giving them the pre-written communication so they don't have to start from scratch. Give them something to work with. We also should be prepared to share graphics or other graphically rich information, such as infographics that will facilitate those platforms that are more graphical in nature. We also want to make sure that we've got some internal platforms that we can provide resources to folks when they have questions, to continually provide them with updated information, particularly as our situation evolves over the coming weeks or possibly even months. We also want to make sure that we share ideas about the stories that we would like to be told about our organizations as part of the foundation. We'd like to talk about the topics that are specific to what we're doing, and will help those who struggle sometimes with not knowing what to say, especially after they've just introduced themselves, maybe for the first time, to someone they've never met before. For some, that comes very naturally, others not so much. There's also some other things that we can be doing during this time. Professional development and organizational development are things that come to mind immediately. There is a ton of training opportunities. Professional training and certifications comes to the list first in my mind, but there are other options as well. I know, and maybe you do too, know folks who have taught themselves or learned how to do Python programming via the many videos on YouTube or the training that's available on LinkedIn. In fact, they've even opened up more free training. There are also other online resources such as Salesforce.com, which is especially great for veterans. They offer free training and certification to help folks move into the job force and the workforce. In some cases, you might need to consider how your business operates. You're certainly going through a lot of trial and error right now and what it means to have folks work from home when that may not have been part of your landscape before, but it's probably going to need to be a part of your landscape moving forward. Some easy ways to begin that journey are to consider the ways that you create and deliver value to your customers and your constituents. And value stream maps are among the best ways to do that because that's what they're made for. And then looking at how you manage your value streams or those ways that you create and deliver value to those that you serve is a great way of refocusing on your core mission in the defining values of your organization. We want to help. If you're not sure where to start or how this might apply to you, please reach out to us. I will be delighted to spend up to an hour for free with anyone who wants to discuss this, to share ideas, and to help you get started. We're in this together. Let's help each other.
Thank you, Jack. Wow. We appreciate your presentation. It's really interesting and relevant at this time. Indeed, Global Links wants to help you identify how you can improve your productivity and collaboration, or your processes, and even your value streams. by leveraging existing tools and other resources that are readily available to you. Collaboration, shared vision, and measurement, just to name a few qualities, those are going to be key practices that your organization has to strive towards in order to maintain efficiency and productivity at high levels over the coming weeks. In order to help your organization rebound quickly and resume productivity, Global Links has an extensive training portfolio for IT management capabilities such as DevOps, Lean, and Agile, besides IT service management, all virtually delivered with a live trainer. So while your team is working remotely, this is an ideal time to skill them up in the ways that they can still be most productive with that shift in their work practices. Global Links also has introduced a new broad consulting offering specifically designed to help organizations stay afloat during this crisis. So I really want to take the chance to encourage all of you out there to share your experience right now with us, to feel free to connect with us. And as Jack mentioned, we would love to engage with you in our 1-hour session to help guide you through the first steps. So thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone. And we're all going to get through this, and we'll see you back in training. Thanks.